Education Minister confirm if all school years will recommence their full educational program, class-based or online, in September? And can he offer a guarantee for a seamless transition in the case of a return to a full or partial lockdown to online teacher-led curriculum-based learning? Is government considering extending the school day in the future, for example, by providing more than one school shift, should there still be a need to adhere to social distancing requirements come September in order to secure minimal disruption to students' learning time? Is government looking to incorporate any added locations to separate students whilst continuing with curriculum-based learning in the event of a resurgence of COVID-19 within our community?
Mr. Speaker, it is the government's intention to open all schools for all children in September. This will be done in full compliance with advice from the Director of Public Health and in consultation and partnership with the NASUWT. Naturally, the circumstances relating to COVID-19 that we find ourselves in nearer the time will have to be taken into account. However, given the low numbers of coronavirus infections which we have had in our community, and based on current figures, there can be no justification in keeping children at home. Our intention is therefore to operate schools normally in September, but in what will still be an abnormal scenario. As we have done for the phased and gradual reopening of schools as part of the Unlock the Rock process, the Department of Education will issue guidance on measures which will need to be applied in all schools. This is expected to include staggered entry and exits for different year groups, staggered breaks to the extent possible, and where the curriculum allows keeping the same classes together throughout the day, special arrangements for lunchtime to avoid large gatherings, limiting access to schools to children and staff except by appointment, using thermal scanners, and using one-way circulation routes where possible. Face masks and face shields will be made available to all staff who wish to use them. We do not envisage the need to extend the school day. Gibraltar generally, including with regard to education, is now better prepared to deal with any resurgence of COVID-19 in our community than we were in March. We were able to react quickly and put measures in place to protect our community. We went from normality to lockdown in a very short space of time. We have then experienced a gradual easing of restrictions through 6 different phases, the last of which is expected to end on 1st of August. Given our experience since March, we are naturally now in a better position to deal with any resurgence of COVID-19. It is impossible at this stage to know what any such resurgence will look like, if it ever happens. A resurgence does not necessarily mean a return to lockdown. It could mean reverting to a previous phase, as we have seen in other countries. The manner in which we continue to provide education for our children naturally depends on the type of any restrictions that might be imposed in the event of a resurgence or second wave. I am confident that our experience so far and the lessons we have learned from this will allow us to continue to provide meaningful and curriculum-based learning for our children.
Mr. Speaker, thank you to the Honourable Minister for that answer. I'd like to ask him if class teachers and head teachers and heads of subjects have had the opportunity to be a part of this planning ahead for the new academic year, and whether the plans take into account contingencies that may have to be applied for possible further closures in terms of have the teachers been engaged in this process.
Mr. Speaker, the Department of Education generally has a policy of discussing plans, certainly with head teachers. So, this will have happened. It's not something that I myself have been involved in, but I have been involved in the formulation of the policies and plans, which I have outlined in my answer.
Thank you for that answer. Mr. Speaker, can I ask if teaching staff are receiving all the necessary training to ensure that their delivery of online lessons and use of technology may be optimized if this actually happens?
Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure what the honourable member means by training. If the honourable member means that where there have been formal sessions during the period of lockdown, then the lockdown clearly has provided a number of restrictions as to what could be done. But certainly the information I have is that the Department of Education has engaged fully with the schools and clearly with the staff in order to maximize the use of the home learning systems and schemes which have been put in place both at primary level and at secondary level.